on, guys? It's your boy Dylan the Villain. It is Sunday, week 3, November 1997. We are on the episode 27 of Sunday Night Heat. We're in the Washington RFK Stadium in Washington, D.C., our nation's capital of the United States, Washington, D.C. And we got to get through the pre-show before we can make it to Heat and get on to Survivor Series, which is going to be one banger of a pay-per-view, I guarantee you that. In a decent match, Lance Storm defeats Steve Blackman by submission with a single leg crab. The match got a 69. Nice. Steve Blackman with a 67 and Lance Storm with a 69. Big win against Lance Storm here tonight. What a big win, beating Steve Blackman in our pre-show match of Sunday Night Heat. We're going to move on to our next segment, which is the interview. As we found out last week on Sunday Night Heat, it is Jerry the King Lawler has challenged the Hurricane to a matchup here tonight. And if Jerry the King Lawler loses, he will no longer appear on Sunday Night Heat. So, we are going to move on to that contest. Kevin Kelly interviews the Hurricane, asking him about this match. Hurricane said he's not worried about it, He has all the powers that he needs to overcome his villain, his foe, his arch enemy, Jerry the King Lawler. And his evil reign of empire will soon come crashing down as the Hurricane catches Jerry Lawler in the eye of the storm. With his good friend and sidekick, Shark Boy, nothing can beat the Hurricane. And Juice Thunder Liger is there, and he kind of just stands there, And Hurricane's just hyping them three up as we move on to that matchup. And Jerry the King Lawler wins by cheating, using some underhand tactics with the help of the Prince, Brian Lawler. Jerry Lawler with a 68 and the Hurricane with a 59. This match got a 68. We move on to that, and they celebrate after the ring. The segment deserved better announcement and color commentary. This time we got a 99. Golly, Jerry Lawler did amazing work. As we move on to our next segment, which is a match between Hardcore Holly and Billy Gunn. And Hardcore Holly picks up a win against Billy Gunn with a Falcon Arrow. Billy Gunn with a 60 and Hardcore Holly with a 61. This match got a 64. We move on to our next segment. And it is The Undertaker, and he arrives at the arena here tonight. And he goes into Vince McMahon's office. This is pre-taped earlier today. And he's basically like, you promised me that, as we found out on SmackDown, that the Kane's grave has been dug up. And it's Undertaker's kind of freaking out. He saw the ghost of Paul Bearer, and he is freaking out. And he said, you promised me that that grave was going to be filled with cement after our match, that I would no longer have to worry about Kane. You promised me that, Vince. This is another time that you promised me something and you didn't keep your end of the bargain. Vince is like, look. All right? Kane's no more. Kane's dead, right? It was probably some wild animal that dug him up in the graveyard and ate his corpse or something. And Undertaker's like, no, my dad, our dad, appeared to me and said that no matter what I do, I was not going to be able to kill Kane. I was not going to be able to kill my brother. You promised me that you would take care of that problem, that I would no longer have to worry about Kane. Vince is just like, well, you don't. You don't need to worry about Kane. Because Doolove is wanting a match against you. And Undertaker's like, what? What? And he's just like, yeah, Doolove requested a match against you. And Undertaker's like, why? He's like, I don't have anything against the guy. He beat me, so what? And he's like, well, Doolove heard about you hearing voices and talking to yourself like some crazy person with split personality disorder. And he wanted to give you another fair chance at Survivor Series. And, I figured you didn't have nothing going on. Doolove didn't have nothing going on. I might as well give him that matchup. Undertaker's like, so you give this guy a matchup, but you won't give me my World Wrestling Federation title shot that you deserved. Well, promised me all those months ago. And he's just like, Vince is like, look, Taker, it's a thing of the past. We're moving on to the future. Undertaker's like, the future? Yeah. You know what? I got nothing going on tonight. So yeah, if Doolove wants to get his head caved in, then so be it. Because when I'm done with him, I'm going to make his ass famous. And Vince is like, alright. And then, so at the pay-per-view, it's just announced that we are going to have The Undertaker versus Doolove once again. And it appears like The Undertaker is wanting a street fight, a no DQ matchup against Doolove. We are going to have to see that match at the pay-per-view to find out who wins. Undertaker improvised a new catchphrase and has likely boosted his ability on the mic, as now it's a go-to line. So Undertaker boosted his mic skills. Doolove came across well. Undertaker improvised well throughout the segment. He got 100, and Vince McMahon did also. Doolove also. Announcing color commentary, announcing could have did better. We are going to go on to the next segment, which is a tag team matchup between TNA and D'Lo Brown and Mark Henry. And TNA picks up the win. They pin D'Lo Brown after an Impact Attack. The match got a 61. D'Lo with a 58. Mark Henry with a 60. Test with a 59. And A-Train with a 55. A-Train seemed off his game. Mark Henry and D'Lo Brown showed excellent chemistry teaming together. Teddy Long did some great work at ringside, and Mark Henry has pretty good chemistry. But after the match, they are mad that they lost, and Teddy Long orders them to go in the ring and beat up the White Boys. And they do just that. They go in the ring, and they beat the shit out of the White Boys. As Teddy Long's just like beat them up, break their necks, split the wigs, kick their asses, and they go in there, and they beat the hell out of them. As their short-lived win streak comes to an end, about the hands of TNA, and they beat the holy hell out of these two men. As we move on to our next segment of the night, which is a steel cage match between Steve Williams and Scott Steiner. As we've seen on Sunday Night Heat, the ring could not hold these two men in it, and Shane McMahon booked a steel cage match, which was actually supposed to be the first segment, and I forgot to book that now that I'm thinking about it. In a bout that had great wrestling and great heat, Steve Williams defeats Scott Steiner in a cage match in 15:28 by pinfall after an Oklahoma Stampede. This is the longest match of Steve Williams also. The match got a 69. Nice. Scott Steiner with a 84 and Steve Williams with an 82. The match deserved better commentary, better announcing, and Steve Williams benefited from having a hot new move. After the match, Steve Williams celebrates. Dutch Mantel gets on the mic and he goes, is there anybody who can give Dr. Death Steve Williams? I said it all those months ago that the era of death is upon us. And nobody is going to put an end to Steve Williams. And we're looking to win championship gold. And there's nobody in the back that can give Steve Williams a challenge. And all of a sudden we hear, down, 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 down. And it's Dan, the Beast Severn, and he comes out to the ring, and Steve Williams, he's like, oh, hell no. And he gets, him and Dutch Mantel get out of the ring, and they stand there as Dan, the Beast Severn, stands there, and he's just like, oh yeah, boy, I'm about to make you squeal like a pig, I'm about to break your neck. Dan, the Beast Severn, is here, and he wants Steve Williams. We move on to the next segment, which is a rundown of our pay-per-view. We have some big matches at Survivor Series. Our big main event, we'll see Triple H take on Sting for the World Wrestling Federation World Heavyweight Championship. As we know, at University there was a tag team matchup with Sting's henchmen, the Outsiders of Kevin Nash and Scott Hall. They picked up a big win between Triple H and Shawn Michaels because these two men could not coexist and get along. And Shawn Michaels ended up eating the pinfall and costing Triple H that matchup, which means Triple H will have to defend his title against Sting. Sting said he wanted his title shot at Survivor Series. He wanted it as soon as possible. As we've seen on SmackDown, Triple H says they are not here to take over the World Wrestling Federation. They're here to take the World Heavyweight Championship, to use it as leverage, to get jobs in the World Wrestling Federation, because WCW is going out of business. So we were going to have to see if that's true. If WCW is going out of business, we have to find out. We have to see if it's true of why Sting and all of them are here. We found out many months ago that Sting is here to put an end to the World Wrestling Federation, to help out WCW in the war. Can Sting do just that and beat our World Heavyweight Champion Triple H and become the WWF Champion and take that WWF Championship back to Eric Bischoff? As we know, Eric Bischoff is no longer the booker of WCW. He got fired from WCW, along with some other people. And we are going to have to see if Sting takes that WCW Championship and throws it on Ted Turner's desk like he so said he was. Or is he using that championship as leverage to get signed to the World Wrestling Federation? We are going to have to find out. Will Kevin Nash and Scott Hall play a part in this big main event matchup? Will Shawn Michaels play a part in this big main event matchup? We are going to have to see in a few minutes at Survivor Series. We are going to have to find out. Our co-main event will be The Rock, our Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion, The Rock, defending his championship against the challenger, the number one contender, Kurt Angle. Will Kurt Angle have what it takes? Does he have the three things that The Rock doesn't? Intensity, integrity, intelligence, to defeat The Rock and become the new Intercontinental Champion? Or will The Rock prove why he is the most electrifying man in all sports entertainment and the hand-picked chosen one of the future of the World Wrestling Federation? Can he successfully defend his Intercontinental Championship? We will have to find out. And another big match up at the pay-per-view. It will be a traditional Survivor Series matchup, a 3-on-3 matchup, as the New Foundation takes on the Hart Foundation. As we found out from SmackDown, that Bret Hart's third man was none other than the crippler Chris Benoit. What a big debut, Chris Benoit. This is his debut matchup at Survivor Series. Will Chris Benoit be the extra man that Bret Hart so desperately needs to beat his brother Owen and put an end to this New Foundation? Or will Owen prove why he says what he is, the best there is, the best heart there is, the best heart there was, and the best heart they ever will be? We will have to find out at the pay-per-view as Team Owen takes on Team Bret at the pay-per-view. It is Owen Hart, Brian Pillman, and Double J Jeff Jarrett taking on Bret the Hitman Hart, the British Bulldog, and the crippler Chris Benoit. We will have to find out. And another big matchup is Eddie Guerrero versus Rob Van Dam. These two men have been bittering back and forth on who has the better frog splash, who has the right to use the frog splash finishing move. We will have to see which man walks away as the victor and the sole owner of the frog splash at Survivor Series. This is the last pay-per-view of the year, ladies and gentlemen, as we move on to a new year and to the Royal Rumble after Survivor Series. Who is going to walk away the winner and the victor of all these matches? We also have the tag team matchup between Edge and Christian and the Hardys for the WWF World Tag Team Championships. Who is going to come away as the winner of that, and who will be the tag team champions after tonight? We will have to find out. Let's go ahead and finish the show. Show got an 84. Not bad. And we are here. Let's go ahead and pick our broadcasters. We are going to pick DirecTV. We are going to pick Sky One. And we are going to pick TSN. We're going to save these Yes. And here we go. Survivor Series. One of the biggest pay-per-views of the year. Will it be a banger pay-per-view? Can we push out 100? We are going to find out here tonight. My name is Dylan the Villain, guys. Thank y'all for watching this episode like always. You know what to do. Subscribe icon at the top left. The playlist at the bottom left. And the past episode of SmackDown will be in the right-hand corner. My name is Dylan Villain. Thank y'all for watching as always. Thank y'all for liking the video. Thank y'all for leaving a comment down below. Let's get on to Survivor Series. And like we always say here at Pro Man Gaming, if you can't play with each other, do what I'm doing right now and play with yourself. I'm excited for this pay-per-view. Last pay-per-view of the year. Let's get to it. I will see y'all at Survivor Series.